When Rangers take to the pitch, the match day experience begins long before the players emerge from the tunnel. Ibrox transforms into a theater of passion, noise, and color, with the fans playing a leading role in the show. The banners, the chants, the overwhelming atmosphere. They're all part of what makes Rangers supporters some of the most feared and admired across Europe. This past weekend, however, one particular pre-match display turned heads for all the wrong reasons. Ahead of the fierce clash against Celtic, a huge banner was unveiled in the Copland stand that has since stirred controversy not only within the club, but also among the wider football community and authorities. The display showed an image of former Rangers captain and manager Graeme Souness holding a shotgun. The visual was modeled on a real photograph taken during a photo shoot in the build-up to the 1982 World Cup in Spain. At that time, Souness had posed with the weapon in a lighthearted manner, but decades later the image resurfaced in an entirely different and far more contentious context. Alongside the image, bold words read, "Take aim at the rebel scum." It was, this phrase, provocative, militaristic, and heavily charged. That quickly ignited backlash. Many interpreted it as going far beyond the usual boundaries of football rivalry. Within hours, Rangers Football Club officially addressed the situation, making it clear that they did not approve of the message or its implications. A spokesperson for the club stated that while Rangers supports passionate displays from fans, this particular tifo had crossed the line. Police Scotland confirmed that they were aware of the banner and had launched an inquiry. The visual has since been taken into police possession as part of the investigation. According to law enforcement, they are reviewing the full context of the incident and whether any legal action may be warranted. This reaction underscores how seriously both the club and authorities are treating the situation. What was likely intended as a bold visual statement in a heated derby quickly became the focal point of post-match conversations. It's a shame in many ways because there was plenty to talk about from the 90 minutes that followed. Rangers took the lead late in the first half through serial desires, only for Celtic to draw level after the break with a well-taken finish. From Adam. The match ended in a 1-0 draw, a result that did little to shift the balance in the title race, but still highlighted the fierce competitiveness between the two Glasgow Giants. Despite some late chances on both sides, neither team could find a winner, leaving fans with plenty to chew over, though much of that would be overshadowed by events off the pitch. Interim manager Barry Ferguson also found himself under the spotlight after making a bold substitution during the second half. Winger Václav Černý was visibly furious when his number came up on the touchline. Cameras caught him storming off and striking the dugout with his elbow in frustration, clearly unhappy with the decision to be withdrawn after just 66 minutes. It was a raw moment of emotion, one that didn't go unnoticed by fans or pundits. Ferguson, however, was quick to address the issue post-match. Speaking to the media, he said that as the manager, it was his job to make tough calls and that he had no issue with players showing frustration. In fact, he preferred that to a player walking off smiling after being subbed. He reaffirmed his belief in Černy's talent, calling him a match winner and someone capable of changing games. Still, Ferguson made it clear that hard work on the training pitch would be necessary if the winger hoped to reclaim his place in the starting 11 next week. All eyes now turn to next weekend when Rangers return to Ibrox for their penultimate home fixture of the season against Aberdeen. Ferguson has yet to secure a win at home in regular time since stepping in as interim boss, and with the race for third place heating up, the pressure is mounting. Aberdeen will arrive with their own ambitions, and given recent form, nothing can be taken for granted. Rangers have struggled for consistency this season, and that has been their biggest enemy more so than any single opponent. Speaking of inconsistency, Nicolas Raskin gave some interesting insight following the Celtic clash. The Belgian midfielder, who was named the man of the match, spoke candidly about the unique nature of Old Firm derbies. According to Raskin, the intensity of these matches is unmatched, and it's the rest of the season where Rangers have let themselves down. He pointed to a lack of early goals and an inability to break down more defensive sides as critical issues. Too often Rangers have dominated possession, but failed to capitalize, only to concede sloppy goals and chase games from behind. It's a pattern that has cost them dearly in the standings, despite going unbeaten in 3 derby matches this year. The gap at the top remains wide, 17 points separate Rangers from Celtic, and with just a handful of fixtures remaining, the title is well out of reach. The focus now is not just on finishing strong, but also on preparing for what comes next. That includes the hunt for a permanent manager, and in that regard, things are heating up. Steven Gerrard is suddenly back in the frame. The former Rangers boss, who delivered the club's first Scottish Premiership title in a decade, is now said to be the leading candidate to return. Gerrard left Ibrox in 2021 to take over at Aston Villa, but his time in the English Premier League was short-lived. More recently, he had a stint in Saudi Arabia that ended in January, leaving him out of work, but not out of the conversation. According to sources close to the club, Gerrard has moved ahead of other high-profile names like Marco Rose in the race for the managerial post. His legacy at Rangers, breaking Celtic's dominance and restoring pride to Ibrox, still holds weight, and there's a belief that he could be the man to lead a new chapter. Former defender Alan Hutton spoke glowingly about Gerrard, saying he knows exactly what it takes to succeed in Glasgow and already has the blueprint in place. But nothing is confirmed yet. Rangers are expected to undergo a significant internal shift soon, with the impending takeover by 49ers Enterprises potentially reshaping how football operations are handled. The American investment group is reportedly keen on having a say in the managerial appointment and maybe pushing for Gerrard's return. Still, the final decision hasn't been made, and the board continues to weigh up its options. Barry Ferguson's name is also being mentioned more seriously now. Despite mixed results in the domestic league, his leadership in European fixtures has impressed key figures at the club. There's a school of thought that giving him the reins permanently could bring stability and continuity, especially as he already has the respect of the dressing room. It's a delicate balance between proven experience and fresh direction. Adding another layer to the uncertainty is the role of Kevin Thelwell, the newly appointed sporting director. Reports suggest that he is open to exploring different managerial profiles, including those he's worked with in the past. One name that surfaced is Sean Dyche, with whom Thelwell shared time at Everton. Whether Dyche would consider leaving his current role for a Scottish challenge remains to be seen, but his disciplined style and Premier League experience would certainly bring something new to the table. As the season draws to a close, Rangers find themselves at a crossroads. There's no shortage of talent in the squad, no lack of passion in the stands, and no doubt about the ambition surrounding the club. But questions still linger about leadership, consistency, and the direction of the project. The banner controversy might have taken center stage for a moment, but the bigger story is still unfolding on the pitch and in the boardroom. And for Rangers fans, the hope is that whatever comes next brings clarity, unity, and a path back to the top of Scottish football. With all eyes on Rangers' next steps, the atmosphere around Ibrox feels tense but expectant. The fans, known for wearing their hearts on their sleeves, are desperate for clear direction and ambition from the top. There's a growing sense that this summer could be one of the most defining in recent memory, not just in terms of managerial decisions, but also regarding the squad rebuild that many believe is overdue. The current campaign has exposed the gaps in quality and mentality within the team. While flashes of brilliance have appeared, especially in the bigger matches, the inability to string together consistent performances has plagued Rangers all season long. Against Celtic, the players seem to rise to the occasion, fueled by the rivalry and the electric atmosphere. But when it comes to matches against so-called smaller teams, the intensity drops and the performances become lethargic. That inconsistency is reflected in the league table, where Rangers sit far adrift from the summit despite having a side that on paper should be capable of much more. The frustration isn't just among supporters. Inside the dressing room, players like Nicholas Raskin have openly admitted that they need to do more. His comments after the Celtic draw weren't just media soundbites. They felt like an honest admission from a player who knows the club should be fighting for much more. He spoke about the need to score earlier in games to break down defensive and blocks with more purpose, and to avoid falling into the trap of chasing matches instead of controlling them from the start. It's an observation that many fans would wholeheartedly agree with. Injuries, of course, have played a part throughout the season, and some key figures have missed crucial stretches. But even with a full-strength squad, Rangers have struggled to impose themselves in the manner expected. Questions around tactical flexibility, in-game management, and individual motivation have all surfaced, leading to debate about whether a cultural reset is needed from top to bottom. That's why the next managerial appointment carries so much weight. Bringing Steven Gerrard back would not just be about familiarity, it would be about reestablishing a culture of accountability and belief. His previous tenure brought discipline and a clear identity, and there's no doubt that the players respected his authority. Yet returning to a club is never straightforward. Expectations are even higher the second time around, and fans will demand immediate results. Gerrard himself would need to show how he's evolved since his first spell, especially after his experiences in England and abroad. But if the board decides to go in a different direction, they'll need to be absolutely certain that the new man understands the scale of the job. Managing Rangers is not just about tactics and results. It's about embracing the pressure, the history, and the relentless demands of a support that expects silverware every season. It's not a role for the faint-hearted. Barry Ferguson, though, still considered a long shot by some, has quietly built a case for himself. While results have been mixed, there's been a noticeable change in the player's body language and determination since he took over. His connection with the club, his understanding of his values, and his willingness to take tough decisions, like the one involving Cherney, have earned him respect. If he manages to finish the season strongly, including success in any remaining cup matches or key league fixtures, his name could carry even more weight in the final decision. Then there's the wider context of structural change. With 49 cents forward, but 49ers enterprises waiting in the wings, there's speculation about how much say they'll have in football matters once their involvement becomes official. Some believe they'll want to bring in a manager with international pedigree or someone aligned with a more data-driven long-term strategy. That's where a name like Sean Dyche enters the conversation. His experience and English football reputation for defensive organization and no-nonsense approach could appeal to an ownership group looking for stability and professionalism. But whether Dyche would trade the Premier League or even a top championship role for the challenge of rebuilding Rangers remains uncertain. Regardless of who ends up in the dugout next season, the squad will need significant reinforcements. Some players are nearing the end of their contracts, others have underperformed consistently, and there are still gaps in key areas that haven't been addressed for multiple windows. Central defense, midfield creativity, and attacking depth all require urgent attention. Youth players have shown promise, but bridging the gap to first-team quality in a club with title ambitions is no easy task. Recruitment will be crucial, and the sporting director will need to ensure every addition fits both the tactical system and the culture being built. The fans will demand transparency and progress. They've stuck by the team through ups and downs, filled the stands home and away, and created atmospheres that are the envy of clubs across Europe. But that loyalty comes with expectations. They want to see a Rangers team that plays with pride, purpose, and passion every single week, not just in the derbies. This summer will be decisive. Appointing the right manager, rebuilding the squad, and setting a clear strategy for the future will define whether Rangers can close the gap on their rivals and restore their position at the top of Scottish football. The noise off the pitch has been loud, from controversial banners to managerial rumors, but what truly matters now is what happens next, on the training ground, in the boardroom, and under the lights at Ibrox. Because for Rangers Football Club, mediocrity is never an option. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A storm of controversy has gripped the heart of Scottish football this week, as fresh rumors swirl suggesting that the high-profile clash between Rangers and Celtic nearly didn't go ahead, and that it may have been pulled at one point altogether. Whispers in the corridors of Hampton Park claim that the Joint Performance Panel, JPP, the body responsible for overseeing player welfare and pitch standards, was behind the dramatic twist. The match, already bristling with tension long before a ball was kicked, became the center of speculation late in the week when several sources hinted at a last-minute intervention by the JPP. While no official statement has been released by the panel, insiders allege that concerns over player safety, possibly linked to pitch conditions or match day logistics, forced them to consider a full postponement. Fans who had travelled from across Scotland and beyond to witness the fierce Old Firm showdown were left baffled by delays and visible confusion among stadium officials in the lead up to kickoff. Online forums and social media were ablaze with theories, some suggesting that the JPP had issued a cancellation notice only for it to be overturned after emergency consultations between club representatives, league officials, and medical staff. If true, such a move would mark an unprecedented step in modern SPFL history, raising questions about the growing power wielded by oversight bodies in the game. While protecting player welfare is non-negotiable, some argue that decisions of this scale must be communicated more transparently to maintain trust among supporters and stakeholders alike. Neither Rangers nor Celtic have commented publicly on the matter, and the JPP has remained tight-lipped. Until formal clarification emerges, the rumor mill will continue to churn, and the Old Firm faithful will be left wondering just how close their beloved derby came to disappearing from the calendar entirely. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.